spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.
Hello, everyone. We're setting up the Facebook Live for our special guest tonight, Lacey Caroline. I'm really excited to have her on our show tonight. And she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. I'm just getting this started a little bit early because the last few weeks I've had some technical issues and I was afraid I was going to have them again. And I wanted to make sure that we could get this going because my guest is a special young lady and I want to make sure all of you get to hear what she has to say and learn more about her. So we got a couple minutes yet till we're actually going to start the podcast. So if you're listening, ask other people to join in and share. You can put some messages on Facebook, and if you have questions for Lacey, and then after Lacey's done, then I have some other things that I'm going to cover. So we may go a little more than 30 minutes tonight. We'll just see how talkative Lacey is, and then we'll go from there. So just hang on here. And another thing I'd like to mention, if you have anyone that would be a good guest for me for the podcast or interview for the magazine, I'm always looking for referrals from you, somebody that you know that maybe I don't run across on a normal day. And there's so many amazing women out there that I haven't even touched the beginning of all of you. So if you know someone that I don't know about and should be honored and celebrated on our show, we'd love for you to reach out to us and let us know about that. So we got about 1 minute yet here, and then I'm going to get us started. Hopefully you guys are all staying cool. They're giving us a heat warning here in Michigan, which I like much better than I like the cold weather. I talked to my daughter today in Phoenix, and it was going to be 115 there. And it's going to be 95 here the rest of the week. So we really aren't that far apart, especially when you walk outside here and the humidity is terrible. So I'm loving the summer, though. It's my favorite time of year because of the racing and everything that goes on in the summer in Michigan. There's no better place, I don't think, to live in the summer than in Michigan. So, well, the clock just rolled over to 7 p.m. So I'm going to get officially started here on Racing Girls Rock Podcast for tonight. I'm going to start by, first of all, thanking the people that help put this on and that support me financially and emotionally and in every way that anyone could need. So I'm going to start with Kalamazoo Speedway. They've been one of our biggest sponsors and one of our biggest supporters. We love Kalamazoo Speedway and Gary and Donna Howe that own the track. They've been very good to us. It's a great track to go to. And so I want to start with thanking Kalamazoo Speedway for all the support they give us. The next one is Network Team Homes Realty, Steve and Gail Zintek. They're with eXp Realty, and I'm hoping to have her on in another week or two and have her talk to you not only about eXp Realty and a little bit about why she supports racing when she's a realtor, but also she's a master at relationship marketing and making sure that you're keeping those relationships, going as far as letting your sponsors know that you're here and you're appreciative of what they do and all of those things. So I'm just trying to get Lacey in here. So.
Hello.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi.
So I'm going to turn my volume up just a hair because I don't hear you very well. There we go. And I see your name, but I don't see your picture.
Okay.
But you're too pretty not to see your picture.
Thank you.
So let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure why we don't see your picture.
Hello. Oh,
Hello.
Okay, you hear me better?
I hear you better.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's better. Well, I guess we're just going to talk and hopefully maybe we can, here, let's do this. There you are. Yay. Yes, come on, Mom, get in the picture.
Hello.
No. So this is Lindsey and Lacey. Lacey goes by Lacey Caroline, and that's her mom, Lindsey. And I'm so excited to have you on the podcast tonight. I'm going to tell our listeners a little bit about how we connected, Lindsey, you and I. I was watching the NASCAR race. I believe, was it Chicago?
It was Chicago, yeah.
Chicago NASCAR race. And normally I would have been there, but it just didn't work out this year for me to go there. So I was watching NBC, and, you know, they have all these nice stories and all these things that they do. And all of a sudden there was this pretty young blonde girl, and she was interviewing some of the drivers. And I just bust out laughing because the expressions on the drivers' faces when she asked them questions was priceless. And then a couple of questions, though, like Kyle Busch, he had a good answer for you on one of those hard questions. So yeah. I was impressed with that. He's my favorite driver, so I was proud of him for getting the question right. And if anybody wants to watch that, they can go back on YouTube and type in Lacey Caroline, and they can watch that. And I advise you to do that. So I reached out to try to find Lacey on Facebook, and I found her mom, and she and I talked back and forth. And so exciting for us. We're, as most of you know that listen in, we're going to have our first live event for the IWMA. And Lacey is going to come and be our guest interviewer. Now, is that what we should call you, an interviewer, or do you have a better term for that?
No.
I would say interviewer or host, guest host. Yeah.
I like host. I like host better. She's going to be our guest hostess because she's a gal. So she's going to be there, and we are going to have 2 to 3 women, perhaps a couple more. We're still waiting to hear back from a couple. And we are not going to announce those quite yet until we have those solidly confirmed. But we do have Lacey confirmed, and she's going to come and interview our ladies that are going to be on our panel. So Lacey, I want to start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, you know, like where you live, your family, and what are some of the favorite things that you like to do?
Okay. As you know, I'm Lacey Caroline. I am 12 years old. I'm turning 13 in 4 days.
Okay.
And
who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? Right.
I am almost 13. I have 3 dogs. I live in Lake Norman in Cornelius, North Carolina. And I have a wonderful father and a wonderful mother that support me. And some of the things I like to do for fun, I love watching the TV show Friends. It's one of my favorites. I love hanging out with my friends, like my neighbors and people that I go to school with. And I also love playing with my dogs because my dogs are very important to me. There's this fun trick that I taught my doggo, Leo. He's my favorite. Don't tell the others. That I taught him, if I go pause, he'll go up on his hind legs and give me a little high five. So it's really fun.
That's very cool. My husband has a dog. I say he has a dog because he's the one responsible for the dog. So he has a dog named Chopper because we like to ride motorcycles.
Awesome.
And he taught Chopper how to sit and shake. And that's about the extent of it. So you've done very well teaching your dog. Yes.
Leo can sit, pause, and that's about it.
Okay.
He's a little crazy.
Yeah, that sounds fun. What kind of a dog is Leo?
He's a Maltese Yorkie.
Okay.
So
right.
he looks like a Yorkie. He just has a lot of fur. So
okay, so he's a small dog. Our dog is a part pit bull and Springer Spaniel and weighs about 60 pounds. And he thinks he's a lap dog, and he likes to sit on Mark's lap to watch TV. So that's pretty fun.
That's very fun. Yeah,
it is fun. So Lacey, tell me a little bit about how you got started being a host or being able to interview so many like adults and get into that profession, if you will. So tell us how that started.
Okay, so I actually started by interviewing the Charlotte Hornets. I was the kid interviewer for Kids Night, and it was really fun, and I was like, that's really fun. And I didn't really think about it very much, except for that I really enjoyed it. And then I got an audition request for a kid interviewer for NASCAR, and I was like, absolutely, because I've always been somewhat of a NASCAR fan because my family is into NASCAR, and my mom used to work for Lowe's, so she was working with Jimmy sometimes, and I would just say hello occasionally. So it was very fun, and it was the most insane thing seeing all these really famous NASCAR drivers just walk in, and they don't even notice that I'm there, and then I come around, and they're like, oh, there's a child. This is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's so fun, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think that audition request really got me started, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, so it's funny that when your mom and I were talking, we were talking about some logistics, and she, in the response, said, Jimmy, Joey, and my mouth kind of fell to the floor, and I was like, Jimmy Johnson, ? Joey Logano, ? And she explained that, yes, she had a connection and was like, I meet the best people. What can I say? But that was pretty cool because most people don't call them Jimmy and Joey in that respect. So that was pretty fun. So when you did the kid interviewer for the Charlotte Hornets, did they kind of tell you what questions to ask, or did you come up with all those? And same for the NASCAR. Somebody sneaking around behind?
That was my dad. Yeah.
That's okay. It's good. That's fine. Who gives you the questions, or do you come up with those on your own?
So for the Hornets, they came up with it. They gave me cards and I followed it, but I mostly improvised because that's what actors do. They improvise.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the NASCAR thing, they gave me a kind of what to go by, and then they were like, we need some fun questions we need to add, and we need to make these interviews longer. So I added the superhero question. I added ice cream flavor. I added a few other ones. So it was a mix of both of us. So.
Okay. All right. So good. So when you're the host for us, once you know who the people are, then you'll be able to come up with most of the questions, I would guess.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I might give you some, but I'm going to let you have some fun with that too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So when you did the interviews with the Charlotte Hornets, where was that? Did they show that like at a game, or did they use it for advertising, or what did they do with it?
It was at a game, and I think they used a little bit, but it was not very much because it was just a kids game. So like it was like a bunch of kids participated on court, and it was really fun.
Yeah, so Melinda, she was actually the kid host for the Charlotte Hornets Kids Day game, which was really cool. So that was back in March, I believe. And gosh, it seems like yesterday. And so she was, they typically have a Kids Day game for the Hornets, or a lot of NBA teams have kids games, obviously with lots of different focuses, and it's usually a Sunday afternoon.
Right.
And so, Lacey was considered to be the host for that game, and they did give her cards and prompts, but there's a lot of time. I mean, you have to think you're in front of 18,000 people live in the middle of a court, and you're just standing there with cameras on you and microphones and typical NBA. And this team is owned by Michael Jordan, so it's a pretty cool atmosphere. And so they did give her lots of the cards, but the coolest thing I think was when we kind of really started to see that Lacey had a little bit of a knack for this, is she memorized the cards. Like I think my husband and I, and who's been in professional sports for a long time on the entertainment side, we were more nervous than she was. She memorized the cards. She's like, y'all, I got it. Okay. And we're like,
I wasn't that sassy.
But I'm the nervous one. And she's like, Mom, I'm good. I got my cards. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be with the on-court hosts and just do my thing. And it was really fun. It was a moment where, Lacey's an actress and a dancer and a singer, but knowing that not everybody has the ability to just get up and ask questions and be in front of people. And so when the opportunity came up for her to have the audition to be the NASCAR kid reporter, her agent was very excited about it. She's like, look, Lacey can do this. I mean, this is not something, not only is she a cute kid, but I don't think she'll have a problem being for 2 full days, for 16 hours in front of all of the NASCAR elite. And the great thing is, to her, they're not necessarily NASCAR elite. They're just guys and they have jobs. And, she definitely knows how cool they are. And we live in Charlotte, so we know NASCAR. But they were so awesome to her. And it was a surprise. I think Lacey mentioned earlier, she would kind of come around the camera, and these guys had been in a media day all day. They had been filming stuff. They had their photos done. This was the last stop.
This was like the last stop. And they were necessarily tired, and they were just like
checking the phone sometimes.
They were just like, it's the last interview, put my phone away. And then all of a sudden they see me, they're like,
it's a little different.
Well, they showed, and I love how they showed their reaction. Chase Elliott's on his phone, and I'm not sure. Maybe I've watched it a few times, but Chase, and just the surprise look and the smiles. It wasn't another lady reporter asking the same old questions or a guy reporter. It was like kind of a breath of fresh air, I think, for them. So did they air all of the one? Yeah. Did they air all of the ones that you interviewed, or did they edit some of them out?
They edited maybe like 1/3 out. It wasn't that much, but they still edited a lot.
But there's 5 more pieces to come. And so, there's another piece. The next piece, I think, is one with one specific driver who she had a lot of fun with. Mm-hmm. She interviewed most of them, and then they'll edit them and do different pieces. So they'll do 5 more pieces between now and the end of the season. So we're pretty excited, and we haven't even seen the next one yet. We know it's coming, but we haven't seen it. So
we've only seen the main clip.
Yeah. So we hear that it's good and funny, and it's with a driver that's now one of Lacey's favorites because he was so nice and so personable during the interview process. And so it'll be fun to see that one. And that one should come out, was it Watkins Glen, I think, right? Is what I told you. So that'll be out next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay. So everybody should be watching for that for sure. And so you haven't taped all of them yet? So you've got more that you're going to tape, or have you already taped them?
We've taped them all. They just have to edit them.
Okay.
Around, yeah.
All right. Pretty exciting. It was so fun. I'm going to tell you a little story. So I have a friend. Her name is TK Boyd. She's now 10 years old. And last year, she and her dad went to a couple races with me, and we got to just be good friends. And she races mini sprints, so she's very knowledgeable about racing, and she'd rather be at the racetrack than anywhere else. So when we went to Chicagoland to the race last year, she was supposed to get, and it's funny because I had kind of had the idea, maybe she would like to do some interviews with me. So we did a couple interviews. She interviewed Billy Venerini with me, and then she did a couple others. And she went to the fenced-in lot where all of the TV trucks are, and she was supposed to interview Jesse Awuje. And I didn't go in there with them. It was so hot that day. It was like 115 in Chicago. It was miserable. I sat in the shade, and I let them walk and do all that. Well, then when they came back, when they had gone to the trailer, Jesse wasn't there yet. But sure enough, TK's favorite driver was there, and that's Dale Jr. and they thought that she was there to
Aw.
get an interview, or that she was there to get an autograph. And her dad said, no, she'd really like to do an interview with him. And they let her do a little interview with him. It's on her Facebook page. And I love that she did the same thing that you did, where you asked questions that no other interviewers asked. Like she asked, what's your favorite zoo animal? And, you know, different things that were just, and he too was so sweet to her. And I love the interaction between him and her, because you can tell that he was serious about the interview, and yet here's this little girl, you know, standing next to him. It was so cute. And then when I saw you, I was like, okay, I have to get in touch with you and see if we can't do some fun things together. So your mom says you're an actress. And
Yes.
so tell me, how did all that start? And what have you done to further that career?
How it started was I had just, it was like the end of, I used to do competitive cheering. I used to do competitive cheer and went to cheer competitions and stuff like that. It was the end of the season, and I had like a week, and my mom signed me up for some theater camps, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. So I did theater camps for a while, and then I went for a big show called Main Stage. And then I was like, I really want to do this acting thing. And then a month or two passes by, and then we realized that film acting's a thing. I'd love to be a movie star. That'd be so cool. And it kind of just escalated from there. This is only my second year now. This is my second year, and I've done some Lifetime movies. I did something on Evil Lives Here. I don't have to say thing in November.
Yep.
Oh, I'm also one of the principal characters in the new Hallmark movie with Kristen Chenoweth and Scott Wolf, A Christmas Love Song. I am one of the main choir kids, so that's one of the craziest thing I've ever done. It was insane to be on set with one of my theater idols, which is Kristen Chenoweth. She is awesome. And then Kevin Quinn, who was on Disney Channel. It's amazing to be on set with them and to just like talk to them, and they're like people, not like movie stars. They're people. And it was something that my brain was exploding every second. And also my dad was in entertainment, so as a professional mascot, so it was cool to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, and what was he as a mascot?
Okay, this is a long list. He was his college mascot. He was a Seattle Seahawk. He was the Carolina Panther. He was a
Child
Bobcats. He was a mascot in Japan, because I'm a quarter Japanese and he's half Japanese. Sorry for the ums.
That's getting important.
And then Portland. So he was a mascot in Portland. So it was really cool.
Well, that's very cool. I don't even know how you get those jobs, but I'm sure you have to interview for them. But that sounds pretty fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. So you kind of come by it naturally, the whole acting thing. I told your mom that one of my granddaughters is 8.5, and she and you remind me so much of each other. Not just the blonde hair, but the personality. The I can do anything personality. The bubbly, I can talk to anybody kind of personality. And Mason is the same way. And she also has done some of the theater camps, and then she's been in 2 productions in Glendale, Arizona, in like a kids theater group. Awesome. So she was one of the kids in Annie, one of the girls in Annie, and then I'm not sure what she was in Willy Wonka too, and I'm not sure what she was, a Oopa Loopa or Lumpa Loopa or something. So
yeah, and a big starter for a lot of theater kids, especially for girls. I was Molly in my first ever production of Annie. That was like my first thing I ever did was Molly and Annie. So
that's what Mason was. She was Molly as well.
Yeah.
Just an all-American story by all means. So.
Yeah. So hopefully one day we'll get the 2 of you together, because that would be fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, you're almost 13. So we're just going to say you're 13. So you're 13 years old. And you still go to school, probably in a pub. Do you go to a public school?
I went to Northwest School of the Arts for 2 years, and then I've hopped around schools by crazy coincidences, but I am going homeschooled this next year. I might go back to a school. I don't know. It's crazy because we're planning on going to LA for 6 months in January to July. So that's going to be, or June, something. I don't know.
So your mom's going to be in charge of schooling, I take it?
Yes.
Yes.
Mom is, and there's a couple of great online sites as well. So between the Khan Academy and Time for Learning, and it's amazing how accessible education is, which is a wonderful thing. And then obviously this is Lacey's dream. It's her decision that she wants to move to LA, and so her dad and I are just making the arrangements and trying to figure out work arrangements and everything else. But it's pilot season, and if it's what you want to do, then you might as well just jump in, head first, I guess, at this point, and head out there. But she has been at wonderful public magnet school here called Northwest School of the Arts, which is just an amazing school for all arts. I mean, theater and musical theater and tech theater. And we actually have 3 kids that are on Broadway right now that are either currently at Northwest or former from Northwest. We have another girl that's up in a regional theater in New York. And so we're just super proud. We're very proud of the school. Hopefully, if it doesn't work out in LA, we're not thinking about that. But then hopefully she'll be able to go back. But I think she's kind of set it in her mind that this is where we're going to go. So we are very excited about it, a little anxious and nervous. And we love North Carolina. We love Charlotte. But
that's why my dad's going to stay here.
It'll always be home. So
me and her are going to move out to LA, maybe with one of our dogs. I'm not sure.
Maybe Leo. Yes.
Maybe Leo.
Maybe Leo gets to go on the trip. Because he is the favorite. Just don't tell the other dogs.
Yeah. Right. I think he is. But in the meantime, we're certainly looking forward, to partner with you and doing some things. And we're super excited about that. And we're excited about it, upcoming trip. And, I have always loved racing. My family was involved with racing on the truck series side of things, which I don't even know if you knew that, but, and then of course I worked for Lowe's companies for 12 years and had the blessing of getting to know Mr. Hendrick and Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, and they are just extraordinary people. And it's really, yes, these guys are all superstars and superhuman athletes, but they are so nice and so down to earth. And it was really refreshing to see that again when Lacey interviewed them, and to remember, because I had not been really in the NASCAR side of things for about 5 years, so it was really nice to see some familiar faces who remembered me, and it was kind of fun. So we had a good time with it. It's kind of a full circle type moment.
It is, and it makes you look back on your life, Lindsey, a little bit and see that maybe some of the things you've done, the people you connected to, are now helping your daughter connect to what she loves, and that's the whole thing. God puts us in places where we're not sure why, and then when we look back, we're like, oh, had I not met them, Lacey might not have had this opportunity. So those are all good things to look back on.
It absolutely is. I think, and that's the other thing. And one thing we're trying to help. We are, as you can probably tell from our conversations, we're very open, honest, just good, down to earth people. And we're helping Lacey understand that regardless of how bright her star may shine, whether it gets really bright or super bright or whatever, you always have to remember the people and connect with everyone regardless. My mantra was always, even working, and I still work for a large corporation, regardless of whether or not you're the CEO or the janitor, I treat you with the same amount of respect, just because everyone is there hardworking and everyone deserves that respect. And my husband, Lacey's father, David's the same way. We're just very honest, down to earth people who obviously love and support our child. And it's been
and for me, the modified for my business is whether you're the director or in charge of craft services or transportation, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be kind and loving and respectful and just keep on being the person that I hope to be. So
and that's going to get you a lot farther than being the opposite of that. Being kind to everyone. You never know who you're talking to and or who they might know. And so you just have to, like you said, be authentic, be be open-hearted, be kind to people, and you're going to go a long way. I'm so excited that we got to meet when you're not even 13 yet. And I can look back one day and say, I knew her when she wasn't even 13 yet. So that's going to be fun.
Thank you.
So when you go to LA, I heard you say you have an agent. When you go to LA, what are the steps? What are you going to be doing there? How do you get connected?
You might have to ask my momager.
Momager?
I only know that there's casting sites and my agent. And that's it. I know a little bit, but I am leaving that to my mom because I trust her.
Yeah.
Oh. Melinda, it is a really, really intricately connected, networked business, just like anything. And I think it's been, Lacey's only been involved with this for about 2 years. It's really 2 years almost to the date in July, right? So, and it's really been eye-opening to understand what she's good at, what she wants to do, the ability to trust people, to know who you want to work with. Obviously, we all understand the entertainment industry, and there are just some people who haven't turned out to be the people that we thought they were, to put it more positive, right? And we've had some bad experiences.
Everybody has those experiences.
Everybody has those experiences, but you just learn from them. And so really the quest that we're on right now is we have to find her a true manager. We have to find her a talent manager. And so that's a process that I'm working on now. And that's really just connecting and sending. Lacey is on what you call IMDb, so Internet Management Database, I think it is, or I don't know what it actually stands for. But she's on there, and so I'm constantly updating her social media, her IMDb, all of those types of things, because fortunately, this is not just a little bit of a habit. This is what she wants to do. She actually wants to be I think she said she wants to be the most powerful, most famous movie star in the world, but she wants to be a director. And so that's what.
When did I say that?
You said you want to be the most famous person in the world.
No.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I said I wanted to be a TV show star.
Okay. Anyways, and so it's very important, the connections and just learning the business, because it is detailed and crazy and complicated, and there are so many wonderful, talented kids out there. It's just, and especially now, I think maybe back when we were younger, right, it was a little bit different. They didn't have social media, they didn't have all the ways, and so you were really you became a true entertainer if you lived in LA or New York, and now it's a little bit different. And we're fortunate because many more people, even those that may live outside of the hubs, New York and LA, and Charlotte's a pretty big hub as well, in Atlanta.
New York, LA, Atlanta.
Yeah, Charlotte and Chicago, pretty much.
And a little bit of Chicago, yeah.
Okay. Right, so it's social media is a big thing, and you just have to keep it updated and have that relevance. But I think whereas social media is a great positive there, it's also a negative, and you have to, and I think that's what, I think that's probably our biggest bone that we pick constantly is what is your presence on social media, and what do you have to look like, because there are casting agents watching and
yes,
directors, and there's.
If you could not tell, my mother does run my account. It's not me. I only run my Instagram stories because that's where I get to be a kid and playful and happy, and the casting directors and people like that get to see my playful side, and my main page is for professional stuff.
The thing is, we really never know how many people are watching.
Correct.
We never know.
No. And I found this out recently. I had to put a proposal together for something, and I looked to Facebook and did the research on the numbers, if you will, of what my reach had been, what my engagements had been. And the numbers blew me away. I had no idea, because a lot of those people they're not on there talking to you. They're just watching or sharing. Yeah. And I was really, shocked in a good way at the numbers. I was very pleased with the numbers, but it also reminded me that when I'm on an interview with you, or I do a Facebook Live, that I never know who's watching. And it could be that some of those people that I want to connect with are watching and I don't know it.
Sure.
So you have to put your best foot forward on social media for sure. And that's something that a lot of people haven't grasped yet. but it sounds to me like you guys have a good handle on that.
We are trying, we're trying. It's a learning process. And I've told someone before that I'm a student of the industry because my husband is in entertainment, obviously is a professional mascot, and I was a professional cheerleader and then event producer. So I was always the person behind the scenes. I'm not the in front of the scenes type person. But it's just learning and really be willing to understand and listen and talk and be open to constructive criticism and feedback. And I think that's just a good lesson that we all should be able to learn, right? That, the thing with Lacey that we constantly check with her is, hey, is this what you still want to do? Are you still happy doing this? Because it is hard work. It's hard work for anyone. I think this is really the first 2 weeks she's had off in almost a year. And that's just because she decided not to proceed with another theater production this summer, just so she could be a kid. And we want her to be able to enjoy her friends and be able to ride bikes in the neighborhood and swim. And because these are the moments that you're creating lifetime memories. And I don't ever want her to look back on her life, regardless of what she does. If she becomes an actor, a director, or if she becomes a doctor or whatever it is, I don't want her to look back on this time and say, gosh, I wish I hadn't worked so much because I forgot to be a kid.
Yeah.
And so, we're doing our best to balance that and to make sure that she can, like, she went on a hike today with one of her best friends and their moms, and they go up in the mountains for a couple of hours, and wonderful. Like, I love that, because that's what, you deserve that when you work as hard as anybody does. We all deserve a little time to take a break, right? So,
absolutely.
But the cool thing about Lace is when she has to turn it on, she turns it on. She got it, she memorized her line, she goes and does an audition, she wipes off the makeup and she keeps on trucking. And that's, it's been fun to kind of see that balance with her and know that, okay, she is really serious about this. So we just need to buckle up and hang on for the ride. So that's what we're doing.
I interview so many, not just women, but I interview a lot of young girls, 6 years old all the way up. And the one thing, you can tell the ones that are really serious, they pretty much all of them say, I want to be a NASCAR driver or the top sprint driver or the top fuel driver, whatever that might be, which is great. You want them to have those dreams and those goals. We all know the reality of that is there's a very few that happens for. And so I try to be encouraging, and yet, we all need to kind of have a plan B in our back pocket. And I love hearing that, though, from those girls, because I can tell from an interview, oh, this girl's going to go somewhere because of the answer she gives me, of how serious she is about it. What else do you like to do? Oh, I'm always in the shop with my dad working on the car. I'd rather be doing that than anything, rather than, oh, I like to, do 10 other things. If she likes racing, but she's doing 10 other things, she's probably not quite as serious as some of the others. But I could tell from watching Lacey in that little clip that they played, she was so, I laughed out loud. I loved it. I loved the looks on those drivers' faces. And Clint Boyer is a hoot anyway. And, I know where the steering wheel is and the checkered flag, he said. So,
well, then you will certainly enjoy one of the pieces that's coming up. So it'll, and we're excited to see him again for sure. And Lacey connected with him. Corey Lajoie is another driver. He connected with him, and he's been super awesome and so encouraging. And just, he actually lives near us, which is, we haven't seen him out anywhere near here, but he does live in about 5 minutes away. And he, has been very, very encouraging, is super excited about that she's coming to Michigan. So we'll have to make sure we stop by and see him. And,
absolutely.
But they're just, they're all so nice. They were all so nice. And even the ones who people thought may not, it was funny just to hear the production crews, right? Because they're used to these guys. They're used to the drivers. And
they're like, Lacey, this one might be a little bit mean, but it's okay. Like, you can handle it. I know you can. And then nobody was mean.
Yeah, and she got them all talking, but I think that was because it was refreshing, and it was a cute little 12-year-old that came out, and
not a 30-year-old reporter.
Right.
Well, and
like
we're
I said, I think the questions alone that she asked just broke the ice, because they were not the typical questions. And I love the ones that really stumped them. You know, they're like, I don't need to know that. I'm just a driver, you know? Right. So I just loved it. And as someone who asks a lot of questions of people, I'm going to take a little bit of advice from what I saw you do, and I'm going to change up some of the questions that I start asking people, because I think it needs to be a little more fun. It can't always be about how did you start racing, who influenced you, what's your favorite, you know, this or that. I need to come up with some really fun questions. So I'm going to pick your brain when I see you in Michigan, and I'm going to have you help me think of some new questions to ask.
Perfect. Well, I think it's important, right? You got to remember that everybody's human, regardless of if they're a superhuman athlete or a superstar. You know, everybody wakes up the same way and goes to bed the same way. And so I think when you can humanize and personalize things for people, it makes a difference. And so I think that's what, and huge kudos to NASCAR on NBC, because they were the ones who came up with this idea. I think they did a similar segment with NFL a couple years ago.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. 10-year-old interviews NFL football stars.
Yes.
That's what it was.
And so, but I think the guys, it's just a break for them too, because we always have to remember with these professional athletes, they're constantly hounded or autographs or interviews. Yeah. And so to have, you know, a little breath of fresh air that comes out and still asks you tough questions.
Yeah.
And then some funny questions, and some of the questions that she asked haven't even shown yet. So there's still some other really cute questions and segments. And it was fun. It was a great day, and the whole entire crew was fantastic. And then everybody, all of their teams, all of the drivers' teams were just gracious and enjoyed it as well too. So huge kudos to the whole NASCAR family.
Yeah, I think, and one of the things Lacey said was, you know, they're just normal people. I think that we put some of these people in, not just NASCAR drivers, but movie stars, and we put them on a pedestal, and we expect them to be perfect or not to ever make a mistake, or don't fall off that pedestal I have you on. And that's not really fair, because they're just like you and I, and everybody makes mistakes. And we have to remember, like you said, we're really all the same. They have a little more fame or this, but in the end, we all love our families. We all want to be loved, and we want to do what we enjoy. And that's what we all have in common.
Absolutely. And I think, and I've been explaining to Lacey too, I mean, I love your efforts with the women's efforts from a motorsports perspective. And Lacey's a pretty large I am woman, hear me roar, probably even more so than I am, which we're very proud of. I know her father's very proud of that too. And, you know, I don't think she's ever felt just because she's a woman, there's nothing she can't do. And so, you know, we're Danica Patrick fans, and we're certainly watching Haley Deegan now, and just to see how we'd love to see more women in the sport. And it starts at this age. It starts with when you're younger and getting in the go-karts and just driving all of the different types of cars. And, you know, very much like how Jimmy Johnson grew up. I adore him so much as a person, because I love his story, and I love that he literally worked from the time he was young all the way up. And he's just such a hard worker. And he's got 2 little girls that are just kicking butt and doing anything they want to do. And there are no limitations to whether or not you're male or female.
Well, there shouldn't be any limitations. But,
right. Sometimes there are, but not put on by us. We know that.
And that those limitations can be broken down very quickly if we fight hard enough. So.
That's true. Actually, the state of Michigan, the governor, my nose is itchy. The governor and the Secretary of State here in Michigan just put together a task force about women in sports. And it's not just motorsports. In fact, it isn't about motorsports really at all, or it hasn't been. It was mostly, you know, basketball, track. It was, and it focused a lot on college sports. And so I took a step of faith and went to their first meeting, and I put my name out there and said, hey, I want to be a part of this, because there was nobody that's on that task force has anything to do with motorsports. And so I'm excited to hopefully work with them and show them that, hey, there's a lot of occupations around the sport of racing that women could do and do very well. I mean, I can't wait to see the first woman crew chief. It's going to happen. I can't wait to see who it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's an amazing female tire changer now. I mean, there's a lot more. It's starting.
And there's actually Didn't a woman get onto the Ravens team in pro NFL?
Yeah.
She did. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just, I think it's interesting for especially her generation. You know, our generations have seen such advancement, but for Lacey's generation and the generations beyond there, I'm not sure. I don't even know what your millennial or
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Millennial is like 1998 to like 2000.
Okay, so she's a Gen Z, and it's exciting to see as we continue for equality and in all sports and life in general,
Right.
how important it is. But I think it's so important to start girls and boys, start everyone, and help them understand the benefits of equality at even younger than Lacey, and she's always felt that way. So it's been really fun. And that's what I personally hope for her. I don't know what her hopes are, but I hope that where the path she takes, she's able to use that strength and power to the good of females across the country.
As well as other people too, because everybody needs to be equal no matter who you are. Like every person imagine I'm standing next to a person and that person is not me and it's different. Now I'm like, okay, hi friend. Like it's, for me, I think that everybody needs to be equal and together. It doesn't matter who you are. We just all need to be fighting for the good of us collectively, our country and our earth. I feel like that's what I feel like should be happening. And we're getting closer, which is good. So
we are getting closer, which is good. She's very well spoken. You can see that the school she went to did their job and has really made her beyond her years when you talk to her. So that's always fun. That's going to get you a long ways as well. Anything else that you want to share, either Mom or Lacey, about where you're going? Where can we follow you? What you're doing? Are you going to be sharing like on Facebook, like we're in Los Angeles, or she's going to be, the Christmas show is going to air? Because I'm a Hallmark Christmas junkie. So
so that airs her Hallmark movie airs on Saturday, November 30th. We just found the air dates.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock on the Hallmark channel. So we're super excited about that. She and obviously Lacey mentioned that I do her social media account. So
you can follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
So I'm Lacey Caroline, all of them?
No, so I am Lacey Caroline on Instagram, and then Lacey Caroline Stogdill on Facebook, and Lacey Caroline 6 on Twitter. So we're working to get all of those consistent. But again, it's Instagram is I am Lacey Caroline, and then Facebook is Lacey Caroline Stogdill. There's not, I think she's the only Lacey Caroline Stogdill, and then Lacey Caroline 6. Twitter's new for us, so we're just kind of getting into Twitter with all of the NASCAR.
We're trying to feel it out. We're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
And it's very different. I saw an interesting post today actually by the Carolina Panthers, of all people, our NFL team here, and it was showing the different screenshots and the different profiles of Christian McCaffrey's social media pages, and they're all so different, right? Twitter has a different audience, Facebook has a different audience, Instagram has a whole different audience and perspective, and it really does. There is a concerted effort. You have to be active across all platforms because people want to know what you're doing, but it's a great way to connect with fans. And I mean, Lacey has Instagram fans that are in India, and Germany, and it's so fun to connect there. Now, that's where I step in as the mom and watch everything that happens because, again, she's only 12. She'll be 13 in a couple of days. But it is, not everyone is as honest and as good of a person as you would hope them to be. So I do keep, so anybody who's wondering, I do keep my finger pretty closely on all of those things.
Pretty closely?
That's a good thing, Lacey. That's a good thing.
I know. She went pretty closely and I was like, okay.
But it is fun. So yeah, all of those things, and I keep them pretty updated on everything that she's doing, and we'll certainly be doing some fun things from Michigan when we get there. She's filming a short film this weekend on her birthday, actually. And so we've got another short film by an amazing local production team. It's a horror short, and a lot of these short films that she's done this year, they'll all make their way through the film circuit, and then hopefully, continue down the path. And it's just great experience, and we're very lucky and that we have a community here that is very supportive of the arts and of the film world, and have been very good to Lacey. And it's been a lot of fun. We're just kind of, like I said, we're learning, but watch for all of those things, because we'll continue to update, and we'll certainly update and keep an update of the trip out to Michigan, because that'll be a blast. So once we get all that booked,
be fun. Yeah, for sure. So I'm so excited that you're coming and that it worked out for you to be there. And I want to introduce you to a couple of my favorite NASCAR women that I've made relationships with. Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm excited about it too. And so you be thinking about those questions you're going to ask. I'll be thinking of a couple fun ones that you can ask as well. And then as soon as we know and can announce who our guests are going to be, I'll let you know about that. But I just thank you so much for taking time tonight to be on the podcast with us. And it's recorded, and there'll be a link after we're done that you'll be able to share if you want to, or use it for, some of your media, showing them what you're able to do, because you've done a great job tonight, and I appreciate that you were both here. So any last words from either one of you?
I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me to do this podcast. And I'm so excited to go to Michigan and meet all the wonderful and powerful women, and I'm excited to be inspired. So
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think she rounded it up pretty well. So we're honored, and we greatly appreciate the contact, Melinda, that you made after keep watching for the other interviews that are coming out, because they're going to be super fun over the next couple of months. And we're just thrilled and really are excited to be in Michigan and meet all of the amazing women that are involved in the sport now, and then to help continue the female growth in NASCAR as well, because I know that it's continuing and it's powerful, and whatever we can do to help that, we're excited to help.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can see us doing quite a few things together over the next few years. So I'm excited about that we've linked up early, and I'll see you. It won't be that long. I had to go order some things today for the weekend, and for that weekend. And my guy said, "Oh, this is coming right up." I said, "Yeah, I know. It's coming quicker than what we think." So we'll see you soon. And you guys, you have a great week, and stay cool. It's going to be nice and hot here in Michigan, but that's just how it goes. Better than the snow flying, that's for sure.
Right. Well, it's 100 degrees here today, so it is nice to be inside for all means. But we will look forward to seeing you, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you guys for being on.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
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 So that's Lacey and her mom, Lindsey. And Lacey is going to be our host at our live event. It's going to be IWMA Live. That's going to be the hashtag that we use, hashtag IWMA Live. And we are going to use another hashtag because we want to fill the room. This is our first event, and it will set up future events in other states at other tracks. And so we need to make this one a success and have as many of you there as we can. So just to recap the event, it's on Sunday, August 11th at Michigan International Speedway. You can get on to their website and order your tickets. There are actually 3 things that come with the ticket. So if you do not have a ticket yet to the race, you can come to our event, which begins at 11 a.m. We are going to have swag bags and door prizes, and a great group of ladies that are going to talk to you and share with you. And hopefully we'll have some time for some meet and greet that you can actually meet these ladies in person. And if you are just now tuning in, you've got to go back and watch this interview with Lacey Caroline. She's going to be our host, and I can tell you it's going to be a very, very fun event. So August 11th, 11 o'clock, our event starts in the infield in the Michigan room, which is air conditioned. So you get to come to our event, you get the all-you-can-eat buffet that the Michigan track puts on, which is on the grandstand side, and you get a grandstand ticket, all for $75. It's a really good deal. I encourage you all to grab someone and bring them with you. It's not just for women. You men are welcome to come as well, because I think you will enjoy it just as much as the ladies. And I want you to come. And if you already have your ticket for the race, you just reach out to Michigan and tell them, hey, I have a ticket, a grandstand ticket, but I want to go to the IWMA event and maybe the all-you-can-eat buffet. And I highly recommend that. I've done that in the past, and it's really good. So, yeah, reach out to them. They can make it happen, whatever you need. Do you need a grandstand ticket? Do you only need a buffet and our event ticket? Whatever you need. Reach out to them, and they'll help you. I'd love to see the room full, and that's the idea. We want to have live events geared towards women, but the men are always welcome as well, because I think we're going to offer a lot of information. We're going to have some great guests, and who's going to be better than Lacey to interview them? So I'm going to get off here and tell Lacey and Lindsey, thank you so much for being on with me tonight. I have to be on another podcast here in about 8 minutes. So I've got to get off of here and over there. And so have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at International Women's Motorsports Association, or on Instagram and Twitter at the IWMA Nation. And if you know someone that should be on our show, drop us an email at iwmanation@gmail.com.